There is. Oh.
First, raise your hand and wait for your turn. England women's team captain and New Zealand women's team captain is here. Who is going to start first?
So, the one difference between where women's cricket today is as compared to what it was 2 years ago in Bangladesh.
Sorry.
The difference between in what women's cricket is today as compared to what it was 2 years ago in Bangladesh.
Oh, the game's moved massively in the last 2 years, and it's great to see so many teams now, competing against each other. And I think from the recent series, everyone's beating everyone. So I think this is probably a wide open tournament, one we're all looking forward to. And the great thing is the game is moving forward at a rapid rate, and it's great. It's obviously great to be part of that.
Susie, you are perhaps the only cricketer. You're perhaps the only cricketer who's a double international, being part of the Olympics in 2008. Talk us about the difference that you have playing cricket more competitively rather than one in basketball, because you are represented New Zealand at the highest level in both the sport.
Yeah, there's a couple of players, with Sophie Devine being an international hockey player and Elise Perry, of course. But yeah, I guess growing up in New Zealand, you played all sports, and I'm sure lots of girls here are the same, and that they wanted to get involved in as much as they could. And fortunately for me, I enjoyed my basketball and cricket and was lucky enough to play for New Zealand. But it's really exciting to be part of women's cricket at the moment, and that's where my focus is. As much as I love the basketball, there's probably more opportunities in cricket for women globally, especially being from New Zealand.
Umpiring in India is always challenging. The conditions in India are always challenging. And how often do you like to use technology? Now, how do you find the
DRS? I don't think we get to use DRS.
From England and New Zealand. Match updates are coming next.
The first question is, how do you find the conditions in India? It's a bit challenging. And second one is, do you like to use more of the technology, or do you like to take decisions on your own?
And the conditions here, we've played a World Cup 3 years ago, so, it's a country we love playing in. It's somewhere I've always enjoyed, playing, and from what I've seen today, the wickets look really good, so we're looking forward to hopefully being a high-scoring tournament and hopefully, putting on a good spectacle for the women's game.
Hi, question to both of you. It was women who played the first World Cup in 1973 before men played. And again, T20 International, it was women who played. I think England, New Zealand played the first T20. You're always playing catch-up and playing second fiddle to men. What is the biggest stumbling block for women's cricket to move forward?
Yeah, I guess it's always exciting to be at tournaments like this when the men are involved too, but I think probably the biggest stumbling block in the past has been that we haven't been promoted on our own as women's cricket, and I think that's starting to change with the Women's Big Bash in Australia, a Super League coming in England, and really promoting the game as women's cricket and a spectacle on its own.
Yeah, I completely agree with Susie. I think the game's moving so quickly now, and I think we've shown from our recent Ashes series we were selling out grounds for women's cricket, and that's great moving forward, and hopefully we'll continue to do that, and hopefully this tournament's going to be a real ground-breaking tournament for the women's game, which I'm certainly hoping it will be.
Charlotte, how has the Women's Big Bash League changed the dynamics of women's cricket? That's one. And the second follow-up to that is England's coming up with a league of their own, lined up to come next year. So how do you see that and the prospect of playing in, how was the experience in Australia and how that's added to the dimension of women's cricket?
Look, Big Bash was brilliant. I think me and Susie played in the same team, so it was great. Firstly, that was one of the main attractions, was to play with some other international players, and obviously with the homegrown Australian players. So, it's as I guess good a competition as you're going to get. It's great that we've got our own one coming out this summer, and obviously there's more details to be released on that. But it's just incredibly exciting for any women's cricketer at the moment to think that not only can you play internationally, but domestically now, get paid for that as well. It's such a huge attraction, and I guess, we've played together all winter and now we're going to be looking heads on obviously Saturday, which is great. And I think you're learning so much all the time. And I never thought, probably when I set out playing that I'd get these kind of opportunities, which is great for women's cricket.
The question is for Susie. New Zealand has come close to the title twice in 2009 and 10, and now you're coming back from a series win against Australia, the previous champion. How's the feeling in the camp?
Yeah, really good. Obviously playing Australia at home and managing to win that series 2-1 gives us a lot of confidence coming into this tournament, and we have been reasonably successful at 2020 with the New Zealand side, and obviously to come up short twice is disappointing, but we've got a few girls that were involved in those campaigns, so the experience that we've gained from, I guess, a little bit of failure is always helpful going into a World Cup. And we're under no illusion, though, that the series against Australia means nothing coming into this tournament. Every team is here to win the trophy, and it's going to be a really closely fought tournament. So, although we've got some confidence in our group and we've got some momentum, we've got to start again.
Hi, good afternoon. This is for both of you. The ICC recently said that the viewership for women's game has grown up dramatically over the last decade or so. How tough it is for you guys to be mentally actually going into a ground knowing that there will be very less people who will watch you in a ground, and now how is that you see in this season? How does the different leagues help people come to ground and watch women's game? How has that helped? And for Susie, in New Zealand, the Black Caps, they rule. Even the men's cricket take a second step. How does that you see, things change as far as the viewership is concerned?
I think the crowds have grown enormously over the time, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, and we're hoping for big crowds in India, so there's a hint to everyone out there to come and watch us. From playing in the Big Bash to see some of the, thousands of people that were coming in before the games, we want to play in front of big crowds. That we're international cricketers, and hopefully we will keep attracting more and more people to watch our game, because it's a great product now, and I think that's the most important thing. That actually there's some, I guess, real role models out there in the women's game, and hopefully the crowds of India will come in and watch the team. And with India doing so well as well at the moment, I think that's even a bigger attraction as well.
Yeah, so in terms of the New Zealand men's team and
the Black Caps, how the trend is changing now?
Yeah, I think the World Cup at home and the way the Black Caps went about their business and the way Brendan McCullum led the side and the style they played was really inspiring for all New Zealanders and people around the world. And we've tried to jump off the back of some of the success of the Black Caps and keep that following of cricket in New Zealand going. And with our new pink uniforms, we hopefully get some more girls watching and inspired to play cricket just like the Black Caps have done for the boys. And that's our goal, is to try and promote the game and encourage more and more girls to play, because it's such a great game to be a part of.
Yeah, hi. You spoke about Charlotte, you spoke about your experience of playing in Women's Big Bash and the upcoming Women's League in England. So I wanted to know, how do you feel? Do you feel IPL for women is around the corner, and would England players, as an England women's captain, would you want to play in this league? And another thing is, the Indian women, there were no Indian women playing in this Australian Big Bash, the women's league. So do you think that BCCI should also allow the Indian women's players to, participate in the competition?
Well, I guess that's not my decision, but we want India to play in all of the best competitions around the world because they've got some high-quality players. So, firstly, yes, we do want India to play in, the Super League and in the Big Bash. It's been great to get as many internationals and the best in the world to those events. So, that's brilliant. What was the other question, sorry?
The IPL.
Yeah.
Oh, the IPL, absolutely. I mean, we want to play as much cricket as possible. We've seen what an impact IPL had on the men's game, and I guess, that's probably the next step, isn't it? But, firstly, obviously Big Bash and Super League are really taking off, and, I guess any of the players would want to play in an event like the IPL.
Again, the question is to both of you. Does sledging exist in women's cricket? Any interesting to share?
Well, I think these international leagues where you get to play alongside some of the players you've only played against helps with a bit of banter. You learn a bit more about players off the field. So I'm sure when we play England in a warm-up match, I've saved some things up my sleeve when Charlotte goes out to bat, and we've had to give each other throwdowns over the summer in Perth. So I know where to bowl now because learn a lot.
And exactly the same, I know what to do. So Susie might be scoring all these runs, but hopefully I've got the key now, the banter. But yeah, there is, look, it's good banter, and I think, sledging does exist because, it's part of the game now. But I think we all certainly know where the line is, and as you probably can be aware, it's good fun as well.
Yeah, India has got a strong batting lineup. So what do you think will be a good defendable score?
Sorry,
What do you think will be a defendable score?
what would be a good score?
Defendable. 1-4.
Defender.
Oh, right, I get. Who knows until, I guess there's different venues. We're playing at 3 or 4 different venues. So I think we'll have to go and look at the venues and assess from there. But I guess 140 has always been a good score in women's cricket. Seeing some of the scores most recently, I think it's just getting bigger and bigger, and I think the game's just expanding more and more. So I think we'll just have to watch this space.
The question is for Charlotte. The Indian conditions tend to assist spin more than the fast. And Catherine Brunt is coming back from a back injury. Who will be your key players in the upcoming World Cup?
I think, Anya Shrubsole is going to be a key, having been player of the tournament from the last World Cup. Heather Knight's in fantastic form, coming off a really good series in South Africa. And someone like Natalie Siver, look, I think, it's going to take a real team effort to win this World Cup. We know that. We feel we've got a strong squad, and now it's just about going out there and performing and playing, playing our style of cricket.
Susie, you spoke about double internationals, and there are a number of others who university students who've got jobs. Obviously, with professionalism, that's slowly changing. But can you give us a little bit of a backroom perspective on how difficult or how challenging it is to come together as a group every time for a big event like this, especially considering the fact that the women don't play as much cricket as the men do?
Yeah, it is definitely changing in the last 12 months, especially for the New Zealand team. There has been opportunities to be full-time cricketers, but at home at the moment, our contracts perhaps don't allow for that. But in saying that, I think some of the girls have a really good balance away from cricket. We've got a couple of police officers who, when they're not playing cricket, are defending our streets, and we have we've had a lawyer in the past, teachers, so they have got careers outside of cricket, which I think helps. But the way the game's moving forward, to allow our players to train as much as they can and play in these international leagues, I think we may have to look at that down the track to make sure we're keeping up with all the other teams. But it's catch-22. You train and play more doesn't always mean you put the performances on the park, and we do like to have our girls, whether it's studying or doing things away from cricket as well.
This one's for both of you. What are you looking to gain from your warm-up matches prior to the tournament?
A win. Well, a win, obviously, especially against New Zealand. No, I mean, it's about preparing. They're warm-up games and they're preparation games, aren't they? So it's not going to define whether we win the World Cup, but obviously you want to start well in obviously a country. And we'll be looking to, I guess, start well and, build the momentum from there. But we've got a good first up, which is always nice that, we've got New Zealand and South Africa with 2 strong teams, which will, I think, prepare us well.
Last 3, Bhagavat, Shailesh.
Hi, this is for both of you. Recently, we had the Chris Gayle incident, in Australia in the Big Bash League. Having played the sport, still playing the sport at the highest level, and what is your take on that, and how people see women's cricket in general when you confront reporters like us in general public? How is that the men-women thing? What is your take on that?
Thanks, Lottie. Yeah, look, I think where the women's game's going, it was obviously disappointing from a personal opinion, but I think that's the minority, and the opinions of people around the world are definitely changing about the women's game and the spectacle it can be, aside from all of that. So, yeah, look, a few people may still not have seen or been exposed to the spectacle that women's cricket has to offer, and hopefully this tournament and other leagues around the world can show that it's a game worth just watching on its own.
Charlotte, you've been captain for 10 years now, so how has your leadership role within the team changed over time?
It's changed quite a lot. I mean, I guess I've reinvented myself a few times, I think, within that time, and I've learnt a lot along the way, and, recent experiences as well, in turning professional, they've all been massive challenges, but, I'm still loving it. I wouldn't still be here if I didn't feel I could give my all to the job, and, but yeah, the game's changed, we've changed as a team and evolved, and, great to be working with new support staff now, coaches who are constantly challenging me to be better and lead the team better. So it's a great game to be involved in, and even the game's evolving constantly. So it's been good fun.
Yeah, hi. Both of you guys have been around for quite some time now, so yeah.
Not quite as long.
So, do you think, like T20, the format, this is the future of the game, and, this is the right vehicle through which ICC can take this vehicle and you can play in the Olympics, this format?
Yeah, I'm still a really big advocate for Test cricket, and I think the 2020 has been awesome for the women's game in terms of the spectacle and getting it on television and creating more of an entertainment package. But as a cricketer, you want to play Test cricket and one-day cricket where you are tested over a longer period of time. So I'd like to think that 2020 cricket has made the one-day format and the Test format more exciting for women's cricket. And although I've played for quite a long time, I've never actually played a Test match, and that's the biggest test of your skills. And although it may not be where the entertainment is, I think if we can combine it with the 2020 format, it'll be the best thing for the women's game going forward.
Yeah, and I think the Ashes format has probably been probably one of the best inventions, really. The fact that we've managed to play 3 of them now, and they've probably been 3 of the best series I've played in. And I think there is still room for Test cricket, and it's great that Susie obviously wants to play Test cricket in New Zealand. Hopefully, want to play Test cricket, and who knows, moving forward, that could be the template for all bilateral series, which I think is something that I think all players, would like to see.
Question to both of you. Men's cricket, there's so much footage available of opponents because of the telecast. It's not always the case in women's cricket. So how do you plan against specific opposition when you go in for a match?
There's a lot of access to video footage now, even if it's not perhaps televised. There's always the analysts who provide footage, and with playing alongside each other and against a lot of the international players, that's just as good as watching any video and actually being out in the middle against opposition. So there's we're not missing out on anything that the men are missing out. Perhaps we don't have to analyse as much video, which I'm quite happy about, but yeah, there's definitely enough out there.
Lost on Deepak.
You spoke about professionalizing, basically getting contracts. Just tell me how much of it is helped in getting access to facilities and training? Because contracts is one part of the issue with women's cricket, obviously giving you financial security. Just tell me about, compared to men's cricket, the training facilities, rehab, and your other facilities basically in terms of infrastructure. Just tell me how has it improved?
Yeah, well, I think we're very fortunate. We've got Loughborough, which is the National Academy to go and train. So we've got one of probably the best facilities in the world to do that, which really helps, and obviously through the summer. So facilities aren't really a problem. It's probably more games. It's finding the amount of games when you're professional to have be constantly playing. But I think with the domestic competitions now around the world, that's made it a lot easier, and players can go off and be exposed to different conditions and different teams. So it's something probably initially was a problem back in the day, but I think now it's very much changed, and we're very fortunate the ECB have looked after us very, very well.